in child protective services, and they won't give them back to their loving families because they're making money.
This is a legal system that you're going into. And if you don't know the rules, you will be chewed up and spit out.
If I could say anything to a mother who just got their children detained, you're in a crisis. Yeah. Life feels like it's over. The most important thing is regaining custody of your children.
The child welfare system at its core is designed to protect children who need protection, okay? And that's key, is who need protection.
So social workers, out of fear, will remove more children rather than only remove those children that truly need to be removed.
It's okay. It's okay.
This isn't someone stole your car. Someone broke into your house. This someone took your child, your flesh and blood.
It doesn't say on this order that it was not proven. It says untrue. I immediately knew that, okay, well, this ain't over.
There? Were there no signs? Did I miss them? Did I catch them? At this point, I honestly don't know.
Families only get a finite amount of time to reunify.
I came into this field to help families, not destroy them.
The difference between the criminal system and the child welfare system is substantial. You have more rights as a criminal than you do as a parent.
Hey, you guys. I was gonna try to do that like the Goonies, you know, Chunk from the Goonies, but didn't work out so well. Welcome to Fight CPS with LJ. I am here with my good friend, do I say it Nico?
Yes.
Okay. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing really good, actually.
Good. Thank you so much for joining us. You know, I was going to make a comment on that. You know, it says that parents, you know, in the video, parents only get a finite amount of time to reunify, which is crazy to me because I feel like we get very limited amount of time to do a lot of stuff. And I feel like, you know, criminals in the system get more strikes and more chances than that, you know, and you know, I mean, yeah, it's a big deal. They're fighting for their freedom, but I mean, they can make lots of mistakes and, you know, still not lose their life or their livelihood. You know,
they still have their liberty.
Yeah. I mean, this is like a big deal. And we, you know, it says right in the video, we only get a finite amount of time to reunify. And it's just, it's so backwards to me. And, you know, we're overdue, long overdue for some changes. Yeah. But anyway, what state are you joining us from tonight?
So I live in Illinois, but my child and my case is in California, in San Diego specifically.
Okay. I used to live I can't remember what town it was, but it was in somewhere around Chicago. I want to say that like the eastern side, and it was another level of cold over there. Yeah. So I do not miss that.
Yeah, I don't miss Chicago either.
So you said you are in Illinois, but the child we're talking about is in California?
Yes, and the case.
Okay, so let's just dive right in. Kind of tell us how you became involved with CPS.
Okay, so I actually got pregnant when I was. Can you hear me? Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. So I had a child when I was only 16, and then after that, I did really well at first. Like I got my own home and everything. I bought a trailer at 17, I thought I was doing it right, and then it just became way too much. My mom threw the custody of my brother on me, which he was extremely manic and bipolar, and it was a lot. And so basically, after she got him back, there was no like CPS or DCFS involvement at that point, but after that, it just became a lot on me, and I knew that I wasn't fit in a position and the age that I was to continue. So I asked.
So let me get this right. So you originally started out with the CPS involvement with your brother?
No. My mother just called the school and told them that he was not allowed to return to her home, so they called me. And then I had him. There was never any involvement whatsoever until later on down the road. But so my mom ended up raising her until my mother passed away in 2014. My mother was bipolar, just to say it nicely. She called me when I was in Oregon. She was supposed to come out with her. At one point in time, I want to say it was like 2011 maybe, and she was going to come out with my daughter and then see the conditions that I had, and then the plan was to leave her with me, and I was fully prepared. But the day before, we bought their plane tickets, and she told me that she took me to court and she has custody. I guess she just posted it in not even the regular newspaper. She just posted it into the Illinois State University paper, because that's all they had to do. And she just told them that she wasn't in contact and didn't know where I was. And so she got custody. I was upset, but it wasn't the end of the world to me, because it was my mom, and love-hate relationship. What's that?
What was her reasoning?
Well, she's on disability, so I think it came down to money, but getting public assistance and such, and different things like that. But she told the courts abandonment, like she didn't know, she couldn't reach me. And to rewind a little bit, when my mom first got her, and she went through her first bipolar moment, telling me that I wasn't able to see my kid, and I collapsed. Like my whole mental state broke. I started hitchhiking and hopping freight trains, and just really went off the rails and started using drugs. And before that, I had never used drugs. So it would just really got to like a really crisis point within myself. And then
now, how long has it been since you had not seen her?
I saw her regularly. Like I went every few months at the very least, if not like monthly occasionally, depending on what my mother's temperament looked like. Occasionally it got down to the currently she is 14, about to be 15.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So after that, so after my mom died, her husband still had her at that point, and only related to her through marriage. And
now, how long had it been? Like, what was the time span here?
So that was March she passed of 2014. Just like, I don't know the exact dates and everything, but I want to say sometime around the fall, maybe. Me and her father, via my grandmother, her great grandmother, transferred custody. Like me and him both asked the judge to transfer custody that he had legally to my uncle, because at this point he wasn't going to let us have involvement with her. And there was suspicion of other things going on, and we just wanted her out of the situation. And so we moved her. It was approved right away. And once he learned that it wasn't biological relation, he didn't have any issue doing that. And the plan was that I was just going to get my house and get a job and get on my feet, and then he would sign custody back over to me, we got to that point. I got a lawyer. I got him to drop the paperwork. We found out that she had been sexually assaulted by my mom's husband after my mom passed. And at this time, she was only 6.
How old?
6.
Oh my God.
So she told the police officer and everything, and the psychiatrist she was seeing told my uncle that due to my history, regardless of where I was at, I could not provide her the proper care she needed, which was bullshit. This woman didn't even talk to me. This was around like the winter, so like around Christmas, January time. And then because I remember I spent probably like $4,000 just on Christmas and getting it mailed all the way to her and everything like that. It was just like I was expecting to have her right back, and so I was going all out, and just really I had no doubts at that point that she was going to come home. We were going to get her justice, like we were like that's what she wanted. And so she talked to the police, she gave her statement and everything, and at some point my uncle decided to believe the psychiatrist, and so they dropped her off at the psychiatrist and just never picked her up from like what I've been instrued. And so I was involved in the beginning as obviously like the non-offending parent. Never did a single soul ever. I never talked to CPS as a child. I never had any involvement with them whatsoever growing up. So I was completely clueless, like so many other people. Like I've heard, like I trusted them. I trusted that they really did have my daughter's best interest at heart. And
it's not even so much about trusting them, isn't it? It's so much as like, okay, they've got like a really important thing, person, not thing, they've got somebody who you just love with all of your core, and you'll do whatever they say. Nobody, like anybody gives you those, things to weigh on a scale, 100%, you're gonna, whatever you want, whatever you need, I'll do whatever you say. Exactly. I mean, it's a lot of us are the same way. We're vulnerable.
Well, especially like with the courts involved, it brought like the whole legality of it. Like, there's no way that, like, I would never have imagined that the things that I hear and have went through that that is such a reality. Like, it dumbfounded me when I finally did learn about it. But I didn't learn about it in enough time. But anyway, like I was involved, and there wasn't really much of a case plan because there wasn't too much against me. Like, there was nothing against me. Besides, like, I didn't have custody at that time. I wasn't even in the state. I had nothing to do with it, at all. Like, and at this point, like, we were involved. We still had rights as parents. We never like signed our rights away or anything. And it's just somebody else had custody of our children. I don't know if that's necessarily the same thing or not legally, but I figured we did. Yeah. So like, I immediately asked,
any kind of tasks.
No. I immediately asked if the caseworker. I said, is there any possible way we could transfer her to Illinois? Her mother, her father, her grandparents, her aunts, her uncles, her cousins, we all live here. And I said, there's nobody there. Like, if he dropped her off and left her, like, there's nobody there for her. And she said that, no, that's not how it works. There's no way that can happen. Either I got to move there, or I've got, or there's not really any way to move forward, is basically what she had told me. Like, I don't know, they remember exact words at this point, but
no, that's probably exactly what she said. Just, made a demand, like, you have to change your whole life or else. Wow.
Now I know that to be 150% false. But at that point in time, I didn't. So what she had told me as far as case plan was, we're going to start out at once a week, then move up to twice a week, and we need to get you up to 5 times a week that you see her for at least 2 hours. It doesn't have to be supervised or anything, but Like, you just gave me a task of once a week, but to top it off, they won't even cover any of the financial costs because I'm not a resident of California.
Well, wait a minute. So first they want you to move there or you get nothing. Then you only get like this much amount of time with her, and then you can't go back home, and then you got to work up to that, but then you got to pay for it all because you are not a resident of the state.
Well, like, if I would have moved here, I'd have been a resident, and I would have been able to do that, and there would have been completely different services available to me. But because I wasn't a resident, now I know that they would have just had to ask the court. It would have been ordered in court.
They are asking you to do it, then they should assist.
Right. But I didn't know anything about the system, so like for months I just thought it was that way. And then so I'm still calling her on a regular basis and talking to her at the group homes and the houses and the many different places that she was at in the first year and a half that I was involved in everything. And she was just a little like 7-8-year-old girl, like always saying like, Mom, I'm scared. I don't like it here. I want to go home. And, always saying these things. And there's like nothing I could do. Like, it was just breaking my heart hearing her struggle. Then the caseworker finally brought, in her eyes, a fix, and it's like, there's a family that really wants to adopt your daughter, but we can't have her in the home unless with you having your right, so we can't move forward with that. And I said, so there's absolutely no way we can move her here or get her placed with anybody here. And she said, no, I'm sorry, this is not how it works. We have to be in California, so I accepted that answer. And then a few weeks later, I finally called her back and said that I would move forward with that. Like, if I really felt that she needed to be in a stable home. So I tried to move forward with that. And I cut off contact with my daughter at that point. Like, I didn't want to hurt her anymore, but like, I just wanted to hurry up and rip the Band-Aid off, hoping that she was young enough where she could forget.
I'm so sorry.
But,
and you weren't able to go, like, did you have any family there at all besides her?
Not any family that were talking to me. I burned all my bridges in my addiction.
To move there or to like stay there, nothing.
Ugh. As soon as my uncle dropped her off, he never answered another email, another text, another call. To this day, we're doing third-party conversations through my grandmother, his mother, and so we're playing the telephone game.
Did he die or something?
My uncle?
Yeah.
No, my uncle didn't.
Where the hell did he go?
He just dropped her off. He was breaking up their marriage. His wife is a quadriplegic, and she was needing brain surgery, and then she was be assaulted on top of it, and then it just like, just sign the paper then, give her back to me. That's all you had to do. I'm like,
wow.
But yeah, he didn't do that. And so I've even tried to present forgiveness and understanding on his end, just so I can simply get a better picture of like what happened, how to better help her. Like, I don't want to go in there sounding stupid to lawyers and consults. If they didn't really abandon her, I need to know the actual story, but this is what I was been told, so it's very difficult to like judge certain things at this point. But
so basically you said, okay, let the family adopt her. I'm not really in a position to get up there. I don't have the support to get up there, to stay there. And I want her out of the foster care system.
Well, she was
in group homes, right?
Yeah, she was escalating. She was going AWOL on a consistent basis. And this is San Diego. Like, I personally don't feel super comfortable with 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14-year-old girls running away in San Diego, of all places. Like, it's just too close
I wouldn't feel comfortable if they were in Kansas.
Exactly, but I'm saying like right there by the border, like,
yeah,
like I don't know. It's just
that's a great point.
like it's just super, like, I don't know, it's just a very pet peeve of mine of like, they say they're not allowed to touch the children unless they're in like it's harm or something like that, isn't like if they could harm somebody or themselves. And it's like, if they're going AWOL, that should be clearly a sign that they could hurt themselves. Like, you don't think being alone they could do anything, like, I don't know, it's just, it baffles me that they're not even allowed to, like, even a child that's completely barefoot, it's 50 degrees outside, no jacket, nothing, can run outside. You can't hold them back.
It's so contradictory. Everything they say and do just seems to just be the opposite of what should be going on.
Yeah.
Doesn't make
And
any sense.
I do think that there are people in the field that actually that try to intervene in places, but their voices aren't heard large enough. Like, I feel like every person involved in the system should have an equal voice and not one over another, versus except for a judge or a lawyer.
Yeah, even them too. Like
yeah, exactly.
They need to themselves practice a bit of humility and come down a notch, I think, sometimes. Because hey, and like you just said, there are some great people that work for our government, and but they're very far and few in between. We're like, I don't know about how it's supposed to work in any other state, but I know for a certainty that I'm in Florida. The whole entire team, that means the judge, the guardian ad litem, the caseworker, her boss, everybody's supposed to be working for the goal as a team. We're all supposed to be working as a team together. I can tell you how many parents do not raise their hand up and say, yep, we worked as a team and everything worked out great. And yay, team. It's just not at all how it goes, though.
But so, like, she did keep escalating. She continued to get worse. She's been in, I think I counted on the report I have, so far, like, she's just now about to enter 8th grade and has already had more than 20 schools.
Oh my gosh.
Like, and I can only imagine the number of placements.
And she still, I thought that, she did not end up with the family they were intending her to end up with. What happened with that?
Yeah, so that adoption failed. I guess I found out recently by talking to lawyers and stuff that after a failed adoption, they're supposed to try to reach out to any and all relatives and do a relative search and all of that in California, which was never done. I have multiple family members on dad and mom and my side. Numbers have never changed and addresses have never changed. So for multiple people to have stability like that and for nobody to be contacted out of multiple people, like, just flat out says it wasn't done. It's just a box they check sometimes that somebody told me that sometimes they just check the box and that's all they do. And at one point in time, this case got handed from the caseworker we had in the beginning to another caseworker, and she's had that caseworker since. And so,
are you in communication with that caseworker by chance?
No, yeah, but I wasn't in the beginning because I stopped contact in 2015. She entered care February of 2015 or 14, sorry. And I stopped contact like fall this, like, yeah, because I know I slipped back into my addiction after I stopped contact. And
that had to be really hard.
Yeah, I went homeless in downtown Chicago, and I was homeless there until August of 2016 was when I got clean. So yeah, it would have had to have been like middle of, like, probably like Yeah, it probably ended up being only like the year mark of like when she had me stop contact. I don't even think our case I wouldn't have been involved at the 18-month mark by the time like everything transpired. I never one time did never one time did anybody explain what CPS was, what they did, what their purpose was, what the rules were. No attorney explained the court process, what the hearing was even the name of the hearing that I was at. Like, I didn't know any of that. I never got any court documents.
Did you have an attorney?
I mean, I think so. But at this point, did I really? Like,
I mean, but none of them seem to communicate. Like, our sons, okay, so my son's father, I think we went probably like 8 months before he even heard from his lawyer, like verbally. It was through this like app that he was in communication, and even then it was not even communication. It was just he was posting documents, and then he was like, what does this mean? I don't know. Can we call the lawyer? No, because he doesn't answer emails, nothing. I mean, there's no communication
I didn't even get court documents.
I was going to say, and he was like lucky to get what he got, because most people don't even get court documents. But I mean, this was kind of, tip the scales. You get one thing for, one thing you really probably need. It's terrible, the communication.
Yeah, I agree. Like, they should have like a call center or something specifically designed for like parents calling in and asking questions about their stuff, and like just specific people that just read the files and answer questions. Like,
right. Or they got shows like Fight CPS with LJ, and we're gonna educate people. Me and Nico gonna come out here. We're gonna tell you guys, hey, this is what this means, and like it begins with this, and that's really what we need, is like to spread the knowledge of how in the hell to navigate these waters, because I mean, it is really, really tough, and you have no idea what to do, like where to go, where to turn. Like, I mean, I don't know about you, but I thought I was losing my mind.
That doesn't even include the mental and the physical stressors it puts on you and your life. And,
sure, like, God forbid you show it, or then you're deemed emotionally unstable.
Right.
I mean, who is emotionally stable anyway? I mean, you're this is a big deal. Like, you're separated from your child, and you're gonna have bouts of seemingly emotional instability, but that doesn't mean that you're not stable emotionally. I mean, just
because you're not stable, just because you're not stable emotionally at one point, like, they do have a diagnosis. It's not full-on depression. It's called situational depression. Like, situational anxiety. And that's what I choose to use. I don't choose to use I have anxiety or I have depression. I have situational anxiety depending on what's happening in my life. But sure. I don't have full-blown anxiety. I'm not in an anxiety attack my whole life every day.
But you know what? Even if, okay, so say if you were deemed emotionally unstable, okay, well, that tells me if they want to say that, good, offer more services. Help these families out and give them help.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't rip them apart based on, something that they either are having a hard time navigating through, or just having a really bad situation and just need some assistance, or if they are emotionally unstable or whatever the case may be, then let's help each other. Exactly. Why the hell are we like taking their kids and keeping them from them, and saying that they didn't do anything to work their plan, or they wouldn't try, and just paint these parents out as people as they're not, and ruin them for lives and the children.
Yeah.
That's unstable to me.
That's kind of the point. That's kind of the point we're at in my daughter's case right now, because what I was about to get to the part of the story where I re-entered the picture here, but I constantly made posts on my Facebook and stuff of like, I miss her, I hope she's doing well, and that she's, able, and that I miss her. I can't wait till she turns 18 so I can like find her, and like posting stuff like that, like maybe like once or twice a year on my Facebook, because I don't really like get on Facebook a whole lot. I just post it more for my memories to show back up. Sure. Yeah, so 2018, my grandmother sent me a photo. Like I said, she was third party through my uncle. So she sent me a photo of my daughter, and it was like a school picture, and it had 2018 on it. And here we are. I think it was we're in 22 right now. So last year, yeah.
This was your grandmother?
Yes.
How did she get this picture?
From my uncle that would have gotten it from the caseworker at some point.
Your uncle that had her originally. So he was like showed back up somehow.
Yeah, sometimes he got to see her, take her out to eat, stuff like this. Like, I just what I've heard through the family and things, and yeah, it's just been kind of. But I'm trying to. I guess technically speaking, like he did have custody, and I guess he would be considered the offending parent. So it makes sense that he would have any kind of relation, like in the case at all, like doing things with her still. And
I mean, no, it doesn't to me. I mean, he dropped her off, and
I get what you're saying.
I didn't mean to come at you like that. No. That one took me kind of by surprise. I'm like, wait a minute. So you, who wants her, who is like begging for her, can't have anything with her, but he drops her off, leaves her, and no communication that you are aware of.
I don't know exactly what's true and what's not. Like, I know reality, she didn't end up with me. So I know that, like, there's some part where that part is true, but I don't know necessarily what conversations went on. I don't know the extremes of the abuse she went through. To this day, besides the conversations me and her have had directly, I don't know the details. I haven't seen the actual police report with my own two eyes yet. I'm in the process right now of getting all that information. Yeah. But like, yeah, it's just, she never got any special, like, I don't want to say special treatment, but she never got like any specialized counseling related to abuse at such a young age. She just got like regular therapy and psychiatrists and medication. And like, other than that, she was left to kind of figure it out for herself. And like, at the same time being tossed around everywhere, having different doctors and therapists and parents, and like, she's went through a lot.
Kid.
And so as soon as I got that picture, I literally, like, where did you get this picture? Like, started like I literally drove over to her house. I didn't even call her or anything. I drove over to her house and I pulled up my phone and I said, where did you get this? And like,
so how many years had this been? So this was like starts in 2004.
I want to say like somewhere like 5 or 6 years total of no contact.
And you like are not expecting this picture to just.
I thought she had been in my heart of hearts. I thought she had been adopted. Like, wow. I even followed up with the caseworker to make sure the adoption was going well. She had picked a name and everything. Like, I didn't know that name at that time. I didn't ask for it. Like, I didn't want to screw anything up for her. Like, I wanted her to be happy, and that was my only goal. And try to help her heal the soonest possible that she could. Like I said, I had no idea how the system worked at that time. Like, I assumed that foster parents really cared, and that, like, I just thought
there's a lot of amazing foster parents out there.
Yeah, I do agree.
like just a wonderful amount of love and support. And there really is so many amazing people out there.
I feel like I met one, like when I first, so I called the caseworker every day, like 3 times a day for 2 weeks. At the 2-week mark of not getting any calls back, of calling her and leaving her 2 voicemails a day. Well, first I called the CPS hotline, and then I got the caseworker and her supervisor's phone numbers and emails, and found out that yes, she was still in care. And so then I started like blowing everybody up.
Yeah, that had to like make you just like go, wait a minute, what?
It literally took my breath away. Like literally, like I felt like
the assumption she had a family that was ready to adopt her, like it was a done deal. This is going to be the best road for my daughter, because you were not in a good position, enough to take care of her. You felt so, you thought you were doing the best thing for her and is giving her her best life.
Yeah, and I was never even notified that my parental rights were being terminated. I never got any contact or letter in the mail, no phone calls. I never got any information. And when my rights, so I got clean on August of 2016. And I had my own place by April of 2017 in Chicago, the same phone number that I had had for years. And when I found out, like once I got involved, my parental rights were not terminated until November of 2017, when I could prove without doubt that I was a fit parent. I had my own place. I was actually pregnant with her now 4-year-old brother. I actually have 3 toddlers in my home right now, a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 1-year-old.
Oh my goodness.
So
were you bored?
No, I was actually on the depot shot with my 4-year-old, and then I had the arm implant for my 1-year-old. My 2-year-old, I wasn't on any birth control, but yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Men are done. Like besides my boys, I'm done. I'm like
I'm picking up what you're putting down there, sister.
I feel like I can't even go to the grocery store without getting pregnant anymore.
Right.
But
3 toddlers. Oh my goodness.
And like I know when I got pregnant with my 4-year-old, like that was emotionally the hardest pregnancy I've ever been through, just for the emotional put of it. And then I was praying for a girl, and like just I don't know like the full in-depth reasons internally of like why but I was absolutely devastated, almost to the point of considering an abortion, because I did an early DNA test in the first trimester, and I found out it was a boy, and like I was so crushed in that moment of time that I almost like I'm completely pro-life and everything, and I almost like it broke me into a person I never was, and am not now. And like
mama and a daughter are it's something special. I mean, there's just nothing that you can compare it to that gives it that weight, that a mom and a daughter. And I'm not saying a father and a son or a father and a daughter can't feel the same great level of love, but a mama and her baby girl is just, it's another it's out of this world kind of relationship, and it's really amazing, and I definitely get what you're saying.
But yeah, so I have those kids, and I finally got a call back from the caseworker. And I explained the whole situation to her. And so she says, next week I'm going to foster mom's house, because she was with a foster mom at that time. And she said that she would give my information to her. That same day that she got the information, she called me. And I got to do a Zoom call with my daughter for the very first time. And just seeing, like, at that point, she had just turned 13. And it was, like, surreal. Like, and when she was actually,
how was she? Like, what was her? Was she,
like I was a mix of emotions, because I didn't know what to expect from her. I didn't know if she was going to be vengeful, hateful, like like hang up on me. I had no clue if she was going to be a teenager doing drugs, out having sex. Like I had no clue what I was getting into. And she called me and she was just like, "Mommy!" And she was just like super over the wall excited. It literally made me, like, I couldn't even talk to her. I was crying so hard. Like I was taking screenshots, and I don't know if I was allowed to or not, but I was like taking screenshot after screenshot. She was showing me how she could bend her legs behind her head and how she could like do all this and how tall she was and spinning in her dress. Like it was a great conversation. It was like far from what I expected.
That's
but
so cool.
it gave me the exact motivation I needed to like actually follow through with everything I've done since then. That foster mom, so we didn't have great communication with the caseworker in the beginning. Even foster mom said she didn't have the best communication, but she said she's a senior caseworker that handles more of the intense cases. So that's really all I had to go by. And so we had talked about me coming out there, and this was like when the pandemic, or was it 20? Yeah, no. So like the pandemic 2021. I'm really getting confused now. 2021, March of 2021 was when I flew out and I saw her for the first time. I had just given birth to her 1-year-old sister. Now she was 3 months old at this time.
Oh,
so
wow.
Me and her baby sister went out to California and met her in person. Foster mom had me stay in the house with her and my daughter. And at this point in time, I had no idea that it was not supposed to happen. Like, I'm pretty certain foster mom knew it wasn't supposed to happen. Like, but at this point, like, I just thought California ran things differently than any other state did. But so, yeah, I got.
You weren't even thinking about that. You were just like,
I really was. I was trying to reach the caseworker to make sure I did not want to screw anything up. Like,
sure, of course.
So I was trying to talk to people, and they didn't find out. Well, they knew, but they didn't realize that I was actually staying there. They thought I was just there during the day kind of thing. But, or whatever communication went on. But she had an escalation while I was there, and I got to participate in helping her calm down and everything she needed to do.
What happened?
That's when they found out, and she still, like, I was trying to meet her. I've got, like, all this paperwork I was trying to give to her that I was trying to meet with her during that visit.
Escalation.
Like
incident.
Yeah, like she started like she was addicted to Roblox, and we had to turn the Wi-Fi off to get her to pay attention. It was dinner time, and she lost her crap, and she was attempting to run away.
She was having a tantrum and being a 13-year-old.
Yeah, and so normally when they have an escalation and they ask that, saying that they don't want to be there anymore, then at a certain age they have to respect that, and she's learned that. And so she was asking to leave, so the caseworker was contacted. It interfered with like me supposed to be meeting with her the following day. They told me that if she wanted, I would join the CFT meetings. That didn't happen for a whole nother year, even though she said that day that she wanted me to join her child family team meetings, because I really felt it was important, especially with her behavior, to get in the picture, and really jump in and like offer information of her past, offer help, advice, learn things myself, like just whatever I could. I was trying to pull as much as I could, as fast as I could. And I've already been in person.
Year before you saw her again, was it?
Yeah, it was. Like, we had Zoom visits and everything, but I live in Illinois and I brought the 3 kids, so I wasn't able to just fly out there all the time on my own budget.
Wait, so you just saw her. You just went to see her
a year and a half ago.
And then, boom, she's got it. She has a tantrum. She's not happy, and they rip you guys apart.
The first time we reunited, we were picking her up from the mental hospital. Like, this child has been through so much and has, like, not gotten the proper care that she needs. Like, not saying she's not gotten therapy and, like, medication, but I think she needs more centralized therapy, like trauma therapy and things of such.
Well, she needs to stop getting ripped away from her damn family, first of all.
She went AWOL in October,
no.
and she was missing for 3 days. She was trafficked during that time. She said she wasn't allowed any food, water, or sleep, and eventually they got to a stop sign, and she was able to reach out the window, open the door, and she banged on the nearest house, and the lady let her in. And that's how she ended up back at the Children's Holding Center. But yeah, it was like there. And then I went back out there this past May with all her siblings. I drove my own vehicle so I could go and meet everybody that I needed to, and my brother went with me so he could help with the kids. But it was a great experience. I was able to have her for a full week. I dropped her off at school. I gave her meds. We stayed for 2.5 weeks, and then we drove back home. On that visit, I met with HR at the group home. They completely cleared out all their staff, moved houses, and got all new staff after my meeting with their HR department. And because I was keeping detailed notes, like what time, who called who, what we talked about, what I heard in the background.
Very important. And that's a great point to bring up, is to keep notes, document everything, encounter or conversation you have with anybody.
Exactly. And also in that year that I didn't go, from the first time I saw her in person, we stayed Zoom calls and video visits and phone calls. But I did, without being asked to or anything, I did a sexual abuse class here in town. I did, and with a certificate, a parenting class with psychological involved in it, and got my certificate. I did, what else? There's like literally 12 different certificates here. I did like outpatient. I'm still considered outpatient with the treatment I do. And so I have drug screens dating back from 2016. This December 2016 is when I had the actual paper for. But December 2016 to present day, at one point in time I had a heart infection and I was hospitalized, and it was during one of my pregnancies with my middle toddler, and so my oldest toddler went into care during that time here in Illinois, and I had a great caseworker at that point in time. I was actually had a great attorney, public defender at that point too. Like, she was able to continue my case long enough because
what did you say? Did you just say you had a great public defender, y'all? Did you hear her?
I did.
I'm sorry. I think you were breaking up or something wrong.
I mean, Vince was a public defender at one point.
Yeah, but you know, they don't make them like
often.
That. As often.
But yeah, she I had a birth, so she was able to get me a continuance for his like placement hearing or whatever, because automatically after birth and everything. But then she got me one more continuance at a certain point, so all my services would have been completed, and I was found fit at my very first disposition hearing.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it, like I said, she was a great public defender. Like,
well, that's amazing, but I'm, you know, and kind of because you just like you deserve like just to be thrown a bone there at this point. I mean, you know, going through that with your daughter, what your daughter went through, and then, you know, going, you know, having other children and then having a heart infection.
That's just, I told them about my daughter, and they reached out to California, my caseworker that I had during that time, twice, and never got a call back. We could have moved her to Illinois at that point in time just by my boys being in care. They could have moved another sibling with them, and she would have been here back in 2019.
They don't communicate that.
Yeah, they didn't even return a call. Like, but
why do they not make these children priority? I know
you're running out of time here, but I did just want to.
We'll talk all night.
But I ended up like doing everything I needed to do, and I was pushing them really, really hard. And they saw how involved I was with the group home. The caseworker canceled on the visit when I went out there for the 2.5 weeks, so I drove to her, which was like, my daughter's in Orange County and she's in San Diego, and the case is in San Diego. So I drove to her and met with her in person and tried to give her all of this, and she said no. And so I was kind of like dumb. Like, she took my certificates and made copies of those, but she didn't want anything else at that point in time. But um, I did get my daughter's attorney's phone number, and after a certain age, they're able to say, like, the child has to initiate parental rights being reinstated. Right. And so I finally got my daughter's attorney's number. I've been telling her, like, all she has to do is speak up at court. That's all you have to do. And she doesn't even want to be on CFT meetings. Like, being in court is the last thing she wants to be. She just wants to leave. And, like, she's not going to try to speak up. Like, she's a kid. And I don't blame her for that. But I finally got his number. She, without a doubt, excitingly told him that she wanted my rights reinstated. So he filed that. And July 18th, I got my parental rights reinstated. The prosecutor didn't disagree. The social worker didn't disagree. And of course, my public defender didn't disagree. They ordered an ICPC. So the interstate compact placement of child, where they have to, like, send a packet to their state place or whatever, which she said should hopefully be done next week. And they'll have it and then they'll transfer that to Illinois. Illinois will have some sort of caseworker come out, check my house out, check me out and everything. If they get the approval, they have to place her with me within 60 days. And so, if they said if that doesn't work, then there's another option of, like, they could place and close, or they could keep her there. At this point, like, with what the social worker asked for at court and everything, like, I'm really hopeful, but at the same time, like, I just pulled out all my stocks money, and I'm about to pay for an actual lawyer because, like, I don't have a whole bunch of money, but I have a little bit, and I'm going to use that to try to make sure that she is home this year. Like, I know without a doubt, like, I'm not the offending parent. Like, I just got my rights reinstated with no objections. Like, I can't foresee this being a hard case to handle at this point. I know it's very late in the game, but she's not attached to any caregiver. She's in a group home. Like, it's literally, like, all the cards are in my favor. She wants to come home. Her behavior and the safety of my other children are the only thing being questioned at this point. And, like, this whole folder right here is all of the services and resources that are available in our.
You said the safety of the home is in.
No, not safety of the home. Like, with her escalations and behavior sometimes, and going AWOL, and me being a single mom, and I already have 3 toddlers. It's not a huge concern of theirs, but it's just something they have brought up. And with that being brought up and hearing so much about how easily things can go sideways, it's in my best interest to just go ahead and do it. Even though we're all on the same team right now, I feel like that could change in the snap of the fingers. Like,
well, I love that you're being proactive, because it absolutely does happen like that so many times. I mean, I was the non-offending parent, and I could never have imagined how my case would have, went down. So I'm so proud of you for being proactive and doing something ahead of time.
I mean, I'm still, like, really nervous, but I feel like, in all honesty, like, I have all of the proof and evidence. Like, I have over 30 professional, I probably have more than that, but over 30 professional references from doctors, therapists, of my children therapists, I have a Healthy Start caseworker that comes to my home for many years now. And I've got, like, the WIC office. There's just literally, like, jobs, the place, I own my home. Like, literally, like, there is not a T I feel like I haven't crossed at this point besides my past, which I'm actually in the process of working on expunging my past. And so, like, there really isn't like a whole lot I feel like that could really happen besides like my past DCFS case here in Illinois and like how that could affect. But I feel like even that could potentially be in my favor with having not ever been found unfit. Like, so even though they were removed, I'm still like fingers crossed that like there's not going to be too many hiccups as far as like my background. And but that's exactly the reasons like why I feel like I need to. At this point, I don't know. Do I get an Illinois lawyer because this stuff could be ICPC Illinois, or do I get a California lawyer because it's all California stuff? Like, I really don't know, because it could be like we still have to deal with them 6 months afterwards if the ICPC passes. So like, I really don't. I'm really kind of.
I'm not for sure, but I think you got to get a lawyer for where she's at.
Yeah, that's where I'm pretty sure, because that's where the public defender is. But will there be a case open here when ICPC?
From where you're at and from where she's at. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, just entertain both sides of the spectrum.
I don't know if I wouldn't be able to afford that. Like,
no, I mean, a consultation, and a lot of attorneys will give you a free consult.
Oh yeah, that's what I've been doing. Like so far, in the last year and a half, I've called like over 60 people. In the beginning, people just wouldn't touch my case. I've only tried mildly in the last 2 weeks, but so far nobody would touch my case, even with my great involvement history. Like nobody was like, you got your rights terminated. Like and you don't have a case number. There's nothing I can do for you. Like, you know, and it's just like, really? Like, I'm very involved. Like, you can call the caseworker. I'm sure she'll give you any information. Like, she just won't give it to me. Like,
that's the point that you are like showing all of these people that are watching, listening, is you were proactive, even though everybody was saying no, they're like, it's not going to happen. And you did not sit down and take that for an answer. And good for you, because you got to fight for her. She needs you to fight for her, and you haven't stopped. And like, just kudos to you. I am like, you know, if you're not proud of you, I'm proud of you. You have done an amazing job, and just, you like, the end is near, and that's just the beginning for you and your baby girl and your family. And keep working hard, and you like really give yourself a pat on the back for not giving up. And you know, even though it happened how it happened, and you know, you guys kind of went separate ways, you guys are ending up back together. And it looks like you're gonna have nothing different to say about it, other than, you know, give me my baby and leave me alone.
It's really been like prayers answered, because like for years I was just praying that I got to see her again. And at that point, I just didn't think it would ever happen until she was at least 18. And like, here we are, like she's about to be 15 in December, and like she should be home before her birthday, hopefully before Halloween, but we'll see how.
I'm so excited for that. I cannot wait.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it completely flipped, like from like.
That's amazing. You know, it's because of a lot to do, mainly to do with your hard work and your perseverance. You know, and a lot of parents need that encouragement out in these tough times right now, you know, because there's so many parents who have had their rights terminated, and they didn't know that they still had a fighting chance. Or, you know, I mean, most people that do have a fighting chance still don't feel like they have a fighting chance.
So, you know, after knowing this, so like when obviously I've learned a lot more about like the termination of rights, and I haven't found a lot of information online about it. And I did want to mention that I know that there's ways that you can switch a social worker. So like, had I had any idea, like that probably would have been like my last ditch effort as a parent, of like switch her caseworker before like rights got terminated. Had I even known, it wouldn't even probably been that. But like in general, like I would say, like if my situation had been way different and I even been there and it was still what was best for her, that probably would have been like what I would have asked for. Like,
how did you do that? Did you just ask for?
no, I didn't. I'm just saying, like, I wish I would have known that I could have asked for anything. Like, I didn't know that I could ask for anything. Like, I didn't know.
Right.
And I was really naive to the whole system. Like, I knew the whole criminal system, and I just assumed that it was similar, but it wasn't. And but yeah, so the social worker before they're age 12 in California, at least, like, before the age 12, the social worker can put in for the court to reinstate parental rights. But if you have like a public defender, once your rights are terminated, they still have your case, but they're not like working your case anymore. They won't file anything for you or anything like that. But technically, an attorney could file on your behalf for it to be heard again. I don't know exactly what that is, but once they turn 12, your child can ask for your parental rights to be reinstated. And I think a lot of people don't know that, or maybe there's more hurdles to that for them. But yeah, so I know like some children, like, they want that, and that would definitely, like, just knowing that she could have done that. If I would have known that last year, we could have potentially been here a few months sooner, and just, yeah. So I had no idea that even before she was 12 that I could have ever, like, reached out. I didn't know I could ask for a different caseworker. I didn't know that I didn't even know about like appeals and that you could appeal like I didn't know anything, like. And I think it's just like really sad that there's so many people that go in and just are completely blind faith to the system when it's the one thing that matters the most. Like, so many people say, like, you have more rights as a criminal, but you have more explanation of what's happening to you. You have more resources available to you in the general public. Yeah, so, like, exactly, like, more rights. And I just feel like people should be, at the very least, sent like a packet of like, this is what you're going through, this is what you can expect. At the very, very minimum, I feel like that should be a requirement, just so families know. Like,
So Nico, like, with that being said, what would the, one most important thing be that you would want to give new parents just starting out with a CPS case? What kind of advice would you want to give to them?
most definitely don't be afraid to ask questions. Like, I know that they're intimidating. They hit you at a point, they catch you off guard. But I think that's very important. Like, and a lot of people, I know they get their questions ignored, but again, just don't stop asking questions. If you don't receive an answer from one person, I would say, like, ask another and another and another and another until you're able to receive your answer.
That's great advice. Well, Nico, listen, I am so proud of you. I am so, like, I cannot wait until you can be reunified with your daughter, because I know it's going to happen. It's any time now. So, we would love to have you come back on the show and tell us how it is when you reunify and you are finally on that journey to your new beginning with your daughter. I want to thank you so very much for joining me tonight, and I really would love to have you come back on, once things are settled and you guys are settled, and she's back with her family where she belongs. And good job, girl. Like kudos to you. You did it and are doing it, and keep going at it. It's almost there. You guys are just right around the bend from being together like you guys should.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for you, and we're rooting for you. And please come back and let us know how you guys are doing. We'd love to hear from you.
Most definitely. And I also want to say, like, not to be afraid to speak up at court either. Like, after everything's said and done, like, if you have a question about something, that's what they're there for.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Yes. Well, you guys, that's what Nico says is very important, and it is so true. Like, you still have a voice. You can still ask questions. You can still, say, "Hey, I don't get this," or "What? How do I do this?" Or, just you have a voice. Don't be afraid. Just because these people are intimidating. It's more fearful and intimidating to lose your children and for them to go without you. And we have to keep encouraging each other and spread the knowledge and awareness of what's going on, and let's help each other. So thanks, you guys, for joining me on Fight CPS with LJ. Join me next Tuesday, every Tuesday, 10 Eastern Standard Time, and we're going to keep having a voice. We're going to keep spreading it, and just keep supporting each other. So thanks so much, Nico, for joining me. I'm so excited for you.
Thanks for having me, and good luck in yours too.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, and we'll talk soon. Message me anytime.
All right, sounds good.
You
Thanks.
guys have a great night. Thanks for joining me with Fight CPS with LJ. Bye.